Hey everyone, it's Michael and okay. So I originally planned on making a response to my isekai video, as I think enough time has passed on it to do some sort of response, as it is something I'm both proud of and disappointed in all at the same time. However, something interesting happened to me this week. I was hanging out with Aquasea Arts and some of our brethrens. Oh yeah, that reminds me, by the way, go check out Aquasea Arts artwork. I like his artwork, and he's a homie, and he customizes shoes. So if you need some art or need to customize your shoes, go hit him up. Anyway, point is, me and some of my friends, including him, talked about how bad romantic relationships in Shonen were, which is something I get a lot of emails and messages about. So I think the universe wants me to speak on it. Therefore, this video is on 5 reasons why shonen romantic relationships suck. Now, this isn't to say that all of them suck, but it's to say that more often than not, they do. And when they do, it's because of one or more of the reasons on this list. So now that disclaimer is out of the way, let's talk some anime. But first, like and subscribe or else.
Somebody gonna get hurt real bad.
Actually, there is no or else. Just please do it. At number 5, the reasoning why they like each other is dumb. So a lot of times as anime fans, we don't really vibe with a romantic pairing because the reason why one or both of them like each other is dumb. Let's be honest though, more often than not, it's usually the female character's reasoning, but that's another story for another time. Whether it's a superficial reason like looks or a plain crush out of nowhere, or they were childhood friends, the romantic pairings just simply don't start on a great foundation, and as a result, the audience will just not be here for it. Now, a constant theme you are going to see on this list is that oftentimes shonen mangakas make decisions like this when writing romance, not because they are actually making an honest attempt at writing romance from a male perspective, but because they're trying to sneak in some wish fulfillment into the story. For the record, it's not just this aspect of romantic writing, and don't worry, I'll expand on that. Honestly, I'm here for a little wish fulfillment here and there, but you gotta make it make sense, and this one just doesn't make sense. Number 4, they will drag out the will they won't they plot of the pairing. So for this entry, I gotta shout out Ruga Rabid. Yeah, that Ruga Rabid. Go watch his videos, by the way, if you haven't heard of him. And not just the Tekken or Forgotten Beauty ones either. Anyway, we were emailing each other about... But during that, he brought up this point and mentioned how it can ruin a show. Honestly, I kind of agree, and I think this is what I was trying to articulate when I talked about my irritation in regard to the vacation/festival trope in anime on my Annoying Tropes video. Now, to be fair, I think this is a habit all television used to have, notably sitcoms. I don't have the numbers on me of just how much this was a thing, but a significant number of sitcoms had a plotline where the main guy character likes a female character, but for whatever reason can't or won't make a move. So a huge portion of the show is dependent on what I like to call the chase. Honestly, it kind of works. Some examples are Friends, Living Single, and to an extent A Different World, which I know aren't animes, but the point is that it does work in media. And also, the confession by Dwayne to Whitney in A Different World was something else.
Die! Just die! Let him go, man! Will you have me, Dwayne, as your lawfully wedded husband from this day forth to having a whole and richer for poorer? Baby, please! Please!
I do!
Plus, we gotta take into account Japanese television that isn't anime, which is full of shows that featured the chase. Anyway, my point is that I think mangakas and anime writers who are obviously inspired by romance movies and sitcoms also wanted to write their version of the chase. However, it has its problems, especially for anime. Even back then, that wasn't always the way to do romance in sitcoms. Some examples are Boy Meets World, Martin, King of Queens, Still Standing, etc. Yet shonen anime is oversaturated with it because it happens all the time. and B, what works in sitcoms doesn't always work in shonen anime. This is because while both are episodic, sitcoms used to plan for picking up a new fan mid-storyline, so repetition matters, whereas most shonen rely on you starting at episode 1. Not only that, but for whatever reason, many fans love binge-watching anime more so than other forms of small-screen media. Thus, you get this annoying feeling of stagnation when anime do this that you just don't get elsewhere. It also doesn't help that anime characters tend to feel the same week to week, which leads me to number 3, the female characters in the pairing don't have any character development. For this one, I gotta shout out the homie Star Knight. See, when we talk, he'll usually make this point that Mikasa from Attack on Titan and Orihime from Bleach don't grow out of their crush from their respective protagonist. And yeah, I agree, but you can honestly make this point about straight up character development for female characters in general when they are in love with a main character or protagonist, i.e. Lucy from Fairy Tail, Noelle from Black Clover, Hinata and Sakura from Naruto, Asuna from Sword Art Online, Elizabeth from Seven Deadly Sins, and I could go on and on. Basically, the issue is that a female will have a crush on a character and they just straight up do not grow as a crush or do not grow as a person because they are still in a love daze. Because of this, the female characters will do things like make dumb decisions they otherwise wouldn't due to the fact that they are in love with the male main character, side with the male MC even though it goes against their moral compass, lose all sense of growth, focus, and goals outside of the male character's wants and needs, and my personal favorite, annoyingly constantly talk about the male main character. Now, remember when I said shonen mangakas make decisions like this when writing romance, not because they are actually making an honest attempt at writing romance from a male perspective, but because they are trying to sneak in some wish fulfillment into the story? Yeah, I believe this is a symptom of that as well. Mandem, let's all think about this. We would all want a conventionally attractive woman devoted to us, and there ain't nothing wrong with wishing that. Within reason, of course. So having a character you vibe with get that devotion is the next best thing. Nerd alert, but why do you think historians look at the life of Theodora so fondly? So again, there is nothing wrong with a little devotion and a crush from the female MC. The problem is when that comes at the expense of the female characters not developing or growing within and outside the romantic plot points, it just comes off as ditzy and irrational behavior to the audience consuming the media. Number 2, most shonens feel unoriginal with their romance plots. A constant theme you'll see with most rom-com shonen is that they follow one of 3 plot points. 1, the cute, cream of the crop female character that all the guys want, for whatever reason, vibes with the average male main character. Extra points if the reason is because of a skill most anime fans respect and or can do. 2, the tsundere character is mean to the male main character and everybody else. However, as the series goes along, she shows her softer side in shy, cute ways to the main male character. And 3, the apple of the main character's eye is the kudere, who is smart in some ways, but dumb as bricks in others. So the male main character has to teach her. The last one is kind of a yikes, especially in hindsight, but whatever. The reason why this is done is because it allows the story to have some sort of linear progression for us. Romance is messy and all over the place, but a story is very, very linear. Now look, I'm not saying that all 3 haven't worked in anime to some varying degree. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a staple of shonen anime. But what I am saying is that a lot of these animes are predictable because they stick to these plots. While that doesn't necessarily mean that the shonen anime's romance plot will automatically suck right off the bat, it does mean that the shonen anime's romance plot is already fighting an uphill battle to be good because we've seen this all before. So a little subversion here can't hurt. Now, what I would say is that in the past, shonen animes would pair these plot points with the love triangle plot point in the attempt to spice things up, including the double love triangle in Toradora, for example.
私は高須くんが高須隆二が好きだよ。
But it's rare to see the love triangle explored fully enough to be entertaining, or at least add to the entertainment, in my opinion. Here's hoping that we leave the rigidness of following one of these 3 plot points in the past. And number 1, it's often one-sided. So to be fair, this isn't necessarily just a shonen thing, and it's not even just an anime thing, but it's specifically the most annoying in battle shonen. See, a lot of battle shonens are about personal development to reach your goals. The character will train hard to become the strongest, the king of the pirates, the wizard king, Hokage, beat the main villain, etc, etc. Side note, I think this is why Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho were such breaths of fresh air, because they didn't do that personal development plot point, which at this point is oversaturated in shonen. But if you pay attention hard enough, even when the shonen aren't explicitly about personal development plots, they will often signal to the people watching that women will only flock to the male main character once he gets these accolades. So a lot of them do this thing where they'll have the male main character ignore the female character's advances because they will come to him after he achieves status. Even if the female character is very explicit about her liking the male main character all along, one of the 2 characters' confession is only accepted after the male character achieves a new status. You know what? This usually goes hand in hand with number 5 on this list, as typically a one-sided crush in shonen is due to some shallow reason that leads to a one-sided infatuation. Again, this is another one of the symptoms of writers not necessarily trying to write romance, but instead trying to add some wish fulfillment in their show, because of course, having the woman of your dreams fall for you as you put in as little effort as possible to actually understand what she wants in a relationship, but rather she just comes after you get all the good things in life, sounds easier and awesome. But my main issue with this is, again, all it does is make your main female character look stupid. Most reasonable people eventually stop crushing on people who do not crush on them back at some point. So if characters you think are supposed to be larger than life aren't doing that, then it just makes you annoyed. But I digress. Anyway, that's the list. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give this a like and subscribe. Also, comment below other reasons why shonen romances suck. Thank you for watching, and stay safe.